Hey there everyone, it's been about 2 weeks since our 1.0 characters have been added to the standard, so by now I assume that most of us already have one of them at least on A3 or higher. For this video, we will be taking a look at our elite executor, Claudia. While this may be a video about her, I don't have a physical team, so I'll be working with what I currently have. I will showcase two types of team, the altered physical and a rainbow comp with Claudia. We will also discuss a little bit about kits and rotations for these lineups. By doing these tests and showing the results, I hope to shed a little bit of light to this question. Before we start, allow me to just point out some important details when going for an altered physical comp with Claudia. Here's the general idea of the required advancements for this to work. The advancements where we would benefit the most are A1 and A5 because of its buffs. On A6 we get added stack of shatter and damage boost, but that's only for physical weapons, so although it's needed, it's not really a must. Next is Fiona. What we need is her skill sets, so even at A0 she'll do fine in this comp, but getting her to A1 will give you a noticeable damage boost. The skills that we need to use here are Vortex for the main skill and Torrential Force as the sub-skill. Casting Torrential Force gets counted as a discharge skill, which is very helpful to an A6 Lin. Lastly we have Lin. I've already mentioned this on one of my videos, and unfortunately, in order for altered comps to fully work, we need an A6 Lin because the rotations break up at some point when we don't have the benefit of stacking Moonlight Realms. For starters, we will do a rotation breakdown, then proceed to a 2-minute parse on the Cactus. Make sure to equip Fiona's trait as well. First, we cast Lin's Realm twice and use the sub-skill in between. Then we hit until we get half charge before swapping into a Claudia skill. Swap into a Fiona discharge and use both main and sub-skills. After that, use dash attacks and wait until the vortex disappears before switching to another Claudia discharge. Use aerial attacks when there's a skill cooldown issue. Lastly, switch into a Lin discharge and cancel by jumping before casting another realm. From this point forward, it's going to be a repeat of the cycle where we used Fiona's discharge for the very first time. Since I have the proper advancements for each weapon plus Fiona's matrice, the result ended up being pretty decent. With a more clean rotation, that can actually rise a bit more. There's also the factor that I don't have Claudia's matrices yet, which is another must for altered comp. Now that we've seen how it does on Cactus, it's time to test it out on real combat. Our testing ground will be the floor 1 on OOW. After taking a look at these results, it's safe to say that the 2-minute parse with the Cactus resulting in 112 million, more or less checks out on real combat. Next, we have the rainbow comp with Lin, Claudia, and Fenrir. Using Fiona instead of Lin works too, so we'll do that later. For now, here's the general idea of the advancements that we're gonna need to make this comp work. As usual, we're gonna need Claudia's A1 and A5 for the buffs. Then we have Lin, that's going to be another must on A6. However, Fenrir will do just fine at A1 since it's where we get the skill reset. We have A3 that's good for survivability and A5 to A6 that are there for damage boosts. After taking a look at the kits that I have equipped, we will proceed to the rotation breakdown. Quite similar to the first team, we cast Lin's Realm twice, then hit until we get half charge before swapping into a Claudia skill. Make sure to trigger Grievous by hitting the enemy once you get full charge. After that, swap into a Fenrir discharge and use both of her skills. Use up all of your dash and cast second skill again before changing into Claudia. Somewhere around the cycle, you'll be hit with a cooldown issue, so use aerial attacks with either Claudia or Fenrir. Lin's first realm should be up, and by using your third discharge on her, you'll get another one. Go ahead and cancel that, and the cycle repeats from here. Now, parsing with Fenrir on Cactus doesn't give you accurate data, so we'll go ahead and skip to real combat. The total damage to the mobs increased a bit, probably because of Fenrir's skill. Oh, and for what it's worth, here's an average result of the 2-minute Cactus parse with this lineup. Finally, we're on to the last team on the list, which is Rainbow Comp with Fiona, Claudia, and Fenrir. I got to admit, this is the least expensive team to build among the lineups that I'm showcasing in this video. Here are the minimum required advancements to make this team work. Claudia at A5 of course, and Fiona A0 or A1 since what matters is the skill sets. For this one, we're going with Torrential Force on main skill and Hydro Focus as sub-skill. And lastly, we have Fenrir on A1 to seal the deal. As per the usual, after taking a look at our kits here, we will proceed to the rotation breakdown. Starting off with Fiona's main and sub-skills, we then use up all our dash attacks and swap into a Claudia skill. Hit at least once when charge is full before using a Fenrir discharge. Use both skills and proceed to doing the dash attack plus skill combo. Swap into a Claudia discharge and do the usual. Fiona's discharge is going to be used more often, but don't forget to alternate it with Claudia's. Aside from the very first one, there's really not any need to use Fenrir's discharge. There's a lot going on when using this comp, but once you get the hang of it, it's actually pretty fun to use. Here are the results for the tests with this lineup. To be honest, I'm not really surprised that this Rainbow team had better results than the first one. Sure, matrices did play some part, but I think the deciding factor for this is the rotation with the comp. Fiona, Claudia, and Fenrir really synergizes well with each other's kits. There's also Fiona's trait that helped a lot in buffing. What do you guys think of Claudia? Is she still good? How about the team comps that I've just showcased? If you have some questions or need some advice building up your kits with Claudia on the team, feel free to say them on comments.